As above, so below. As above, so below. As within, so without. As within, so without. So let's break down one of the most important keys to success when we're talking about, under over and understanding this thing that we call success. As within, so without means that it breaks down and it really delves into the inner state, creates the outer state. So the outer state is just a mirror, just a reflection of the inner state. If that's true, which it is, according to all of the science, the Bible says it as well, it's extremely important that we understand the mental state, that we understand how to take authority, how to take responsibility over the mental state, so that way we can, move in a frequency range or a frequency of vibration that allows us to actually be a participant, if you want to use that term, with how the inner state affects the outer state. And so the most important key, and let me turn this around here, so that way you can read my background. Give me 1 second, let me adjust this camera. All right, there we go. Let me see how this sounds. One moment. Before we delve into and break this down a little bit more. One moment. All right, so when we're talking about inner state and outer state, what we're talking about is one of the most important ancient Hermetic laws, as above, so below. As within, so without. That's the ability to understand that, man, we as individual expressions of God, we have to really understand that there's two sides, but it's one coin. It's two sides of a consciousness or a field. And to the degree that we can understand that, man, the outside is just a reflection. So the universe is just a mirror. So this is the principle of correspondence. And the reason why this is so important when we talk about all these principles is this ability to understand that the principles, especially this specific principle, because this is the key to success. We talk about success, whatever your definition of success is, it has to be maintained internally. So to the degree that we can maintain this internal disposition, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this internal. So most of us focus on the external. Most of us react. Most of us are reactive. We're not proactive. And we understand because we live in a world where the outside gets all the attention. And if you notice that there's this external reality overrides internal mentality. And so the goal is to flip the script. So we are spirits that are possessing of souls that manifest through bodies. So we're not bodies that have soul that manifest through spirit. So the goal is to operate in the spirit. Like the Bible says, walk in the spirit. And so that's the key. The key is to get to a place where the spirit has control. So as within, so without. The principle of correspondence talks about patterns basically repeat across levels of reality. So what we're talking about is the macro and the micro. What we're talking about is the inner state as a mirror. So when we look at the inner state as a mirror, all of your inner states, all of your beliefs, all of your emotional tones, all of the unconscious patterns, they all shape how reality appears to you. So it's not so we don't see reality as it is, we see reality as we are. So when you understand that, then you change who you are. So if you want to change what you have to change how you see yourself. You have to change your core self-image. So there's a way, there's an image, there's a picture, there's self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself in a kind, loving way? Or do you talk to yourself, do you beat yourself down? Sure, that's a time to, motivate yourself and inspire yourself. But at the end of the day, how you see yourself is how you be yourself. And most of us, our internal dialogue is not constructive. And so when we talk about the fact that each and every one of us, from the law of manifestation and the law of correspondence, mean that we are basically a projector. It's like a movie projector. Have you ever watched old school movies, how you would put the film into the projector and you would shine light onto the film, and the film or the image will be projected onto the screen. That's the same way that we create. That's the same way the universe is. So you have an image, and then source code, the light shines through that self-image, and it is projected onto what we call reality. So reality is just the inside being projected out. Reality is the inside being projected out. So the goal in life is to get to a space where we have influence over, we have the ability to control the inside. That's the whole key to the game. The whole key to the game is to over and understand that, man, if it is to be, it's up to me. We got to operate, we got to bring into captivity. Like the Bible says, we got to bring every thought into captivity. So the goal is to remember, we have thoughts, we're not thoughts. So these thoughts are just running through your head, and your job is to collapse a single thought. So distractions cause inaction. The whole issue in life is how distracted are you from your intention. So as we talked about yesterday, number one, when you wake up every morning, set your intention. What do you want to manifest? What mindset do you want to project? What movie do you want to play? Mindset. Then when you set your intention, the next thing is you have to repeat that intention all day. So you can set your intention in the morning to have a great day. Then something happens outside of you, an event or a situation or a phone call, or you see something on social media that affects the intention. Your goal is to repeat the same intention every day. Set the intention, repeat the intention, provide emotional support. Set the intention, repeat the intention, and provide emotional support. Another word for repetition, again, is the ability for you to be able to create the feeling. How long do you stay? How long can you create the feeling of the intention being fulfilled? So that's what we're talking about, because remember, this internal creates outternal. Internal creates the out, so the output is based upon the input. So if you got good input, you have good output. That's the key to the game. The key to the game is to over and understanding that your inner work creates the outside image. So it's not focusing on the outside image. That's not it. It's not about focusing on the things that's happening to you. The goal is to focus on how you think, because your job is to maintain high vibration. Energy is contagious. And so there are a lot of energy vampires who are unknowingly, most energy vampires, they don't wake up and say, man, I want to rain on somebody's parade. I want to, basically trauma dump on people. I want to do some emotional dumping. Most people at heart don't over understand the energy game, that we are all energy. And the energy simply means your inner chi. Your inner chi simply means an entity. An entity is a group of related thoughts. That's intention. So if you intend to be wealthy, if you intend to be healthy, if you intend to be wise, if you intend to be in a great relationship, you have to set that intention. That means you got to think about it. You got to keep thinking about it until it creates the feeling. But you got to think about it with clarity. That creates certainty, and that creates confidence. That creates a feeling. So the feeling doesn't come unless you have confidence. Confidence doesn't come unless you have certainty. Certainty doesn't come unless you have clarity. So clarity means that you are married to the road, not the goal. The clarity means that you're married, that you are invested, that you are repeating, that you have an understanding that if you don't do nothing today, is that going to change your situation tomorrow? If you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results that you've been getting. So when you get to this level of awareness, then you realize, okay, where you are at, if you like where you're at, you keep doing the same things that you've been doing. If you don't like where you're at, then you change the things that you've been doing. And you change those things intentionally and consciously. You make a conscious decision to oscillate and vibrate at the highest level of the game. which is your desire fulfilled state. You make this conscious decision to do. What I'm doing right now is a conscious decision to create some content to share on social media, to inspire, and to bring about a CTA or call to action. So that way you can join or participate in some of the products and services that I've created to assist you with being the best version of you by making the minor adjustments the way that I have to do every day in order for you to live the life of your dreams. Because it is available to you. It's not like it's something that is so big that you can't do it because it's already done. You have to change timelines. You have to jump to the timeline that the things that the desires that you want are already there. That's what I mean by set your intention. Live in your desire fulfilled state. So what does it look like? Okay, that's clarity. Crystal clear clarity creates certainty. Certainty creates confidence. That gives you the motivation, the enthusiasm, the inspiration to do daily activities. Because again, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the preparation. So you want to prepare and you want to implement, you want to take daily actions, your step-by-step process, everything that you do every single day. You're doing things regardless of the result. You are always doing things because you're married to the process. You're not married to the result or the destination. That's huge. It's very important that you are married to the process. When I say married to the process, that simply means that you get a dopamine release from the action, not the result. So you get dopamine releases, like your dopamine is being released when you exercise, not when you meet your weight loss goal, or not when you meet your health goal, or not when you meet your financial goal. So you should be releasing dopamine through the routine. You should through the habit, because habits, patterns of power. The destination will come, but you have to love the process. You have to create a process that you love, so that way when you wake up every morning, you're not, creating a negative habit pattern because you don't really want to engage in the process. So you have to create a way that if you don't like working out, you got to change the way that you work out. So that way you like working out. The way that you make money. If you don't like the way that you make money, you have to change the way that you make money. So that way making money is a desirable. It's a natural. It's an automatic because abundance is your birthright. So money flows to me easily and effortlessly because of the activities that I engage in. Because I engage in these activities because it's my purpose. It's my destiny. It's my diakonia. It's the natural state. So I'm not trying to act like or be something that I'm not. I'm a natural didactic teacher. The key to success is inside of boring activities. The key to success is inside of boring activities. The key to success is inside of boring activities, not inside of excitement. Because remember, people like shiny things. We like excitement. And there's nothing wrong with it. But the key to success is creating disciplined daily habits. Those disciplined daily habits, you do them because they produce results. So you want to make those daily habits engaging. You want to make them as beneficial and as fun as possible. So that way you look forward to engaging in those daily habits. Because as within, so without. But it starts mental. So if you can hold it, if you can place it in your head, you can hold it in your hands. So you can't hold it in your hands if you haven't placed it in your head. And even if you do get it in your hands, you can't keep it. So the only way to keep it in your hands, you got to keep it in your head. So the only way for it to stay and keep manifesting externally, you have to maintain it internally. And only for it to maintain externally, you have to maintain internally. Think about that as we age. So as you age, you want to maintain an internal awareness of your mental and your physical and your spiritual and your financial health. So that way you can maintain it. So you don't have to really do the same things. But you got to find out creative ways. For example, I do more low impact exercises as I'm getting older than I did when I was younger. Because low impact, like walking on a treadmill versus running on pavement. Using a stair stepper or an elliptic machine instead of jumping jacks. Instead of doing something that is, pounding on my knees, my joints, I do something that is, again, on a softer surface. So that way I can continue to get the benefits of exercise without causing any physical damage. So you may have to adapt. Same thing when the internet came out. Not the internet, the AI. So when AI came out, I had to pivot. I had to adapt. And so you may have to pivot and you may have to adapt. But that's the key, is being willing to pivot and willing to adapt mentally. So you must become a mental blank before you become a physical blank, whatever the blank is. You have to be that mentally before you can ever experience it physically. You have to be it mentally before you can experience it physically. You have to be it spiritually before you can experience it mentally. So my brothers and sisters, the game is whatever you hold in your head, you can hold it in your hands. If you can't hold it in your head, you can't hold it in your hands. So I want you to continue, again, tune into the shows, man, books, the lives that I'm be doing. It's a beautiful day outside today. Make sure you go outside and have a great day. This is your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. Y'all already know. I'm going to see you at the top. God bless.